One of the most horrific acts in history was the Columbine High School massacre. On April 20, 1999, one of the saddest and macabre massacres of recent years has taken place in a high school, in which two students named Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold were the main protagonists. Let's get to know Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold a little more, who performed this act 2 weeks prior to their graduation. I am Berkay ATLAS. A new murder mystery begins. Eric's childhood. Due to his father's work in the army, Eric was constantly changing schools and cities. Eric always touched this subject in his diaries and on his own website. That is the pain, from the painful experience of being a newbie, rookie and novice gives him everywhere he goes. One day, Eric moves with his family to the town of Littleton, Colorado. Eric, whom his teachers describe as quite intelligent, has different tastes: the black coats he wears when he comes to school, the soldier boots and the Rammstein t-shirts, which cause him to be ridiculed by other students in his high school life. He is constantly bullied, pushed and shoved by the popular children of the school. Each time he doesn't even react in the slightest. Because he's gotten used to it, he used to the feeling of being different from other children. This feeling enforces the perception that he is superior to others, and eventually Eric is brimmed full of hatred. It gets to a point where he writes in his diary before the massacre, "When we started, I should feel like I was playing Doom and I should tear out all my human feelings from inside of me. I should see everyone I meet as monsters in Doom." And so he does. During the massacre, that was the reason why Eric opened fire more than Dylan and killed more people. And to tell you a little about Dylan. Dylan is the emotional one of the duo. He is suicidal and suffers from chronic depression. He is the child of a very open-minded and educated parents. Neighbors note that they are very sensitive and caring parents. Dylan, like Eric, loves music and writing very much. Like Eric, he writes a diary. When you look at what he writes in his diaries, you see that he constantly desires death, that he cannot love the world and life in any way, that he cannot find the love he is looking for and needs. One day, Dylan crashes on a girl, but he never tells the girl about it. He even sits down and writes letters to her that he would never send. He can't get over his shyness. He's starting to get exhausted on the inside. On the other hand, he begins to write his own poems, questioning existence. One day, the two cross paths. Dylan considers Eric a rather interesting and strong personality. Her fearlessness, endless anger, determination, knowledge gained on different topics, common tastes mean that he was starting to become closer and closer friends with Eric. Unlike him, he is not shy and feels a kind of admiration for being a strong character. As they spend time together, they realize how much they have in common with each other and enter the path to the massacre. They were planning for the day of the massacre. Dylan's plan: 5 o'clock getting out of bed, meet at 6 o'clock K's, 7 o'clock going to the Eric's house, 7:15 Eric is going to get propane, and I'm going to go get gas, 8:30 we'll meet again at Eric's house, 9 o'clock the car will be prepared, 9:30 armament work will be done, rest, 10:30 we will place 4 things, 11 o'clock we will go to school, and so the massacre begins. One of the areas where the most incidents occurred during the massacre was the cafeteria. Students goes under the tables exactly 1 hour before the duo enters the cafeteria and just wait when they learn that there is a dangerous situation at school. 1 hour after that moment, the duo enters the cafeteria, randomly kills some people, and finally detonates some kind of bomb. Meanwhile, now the students are starting to run away. Some of them could get away, and some are being shot. The duo then moves on to the library, but there were no recordings of those moments. Before lunch, a student named Brooks Brown sees Harris arrive at the school. Brown, who had a falling out with Harris a year ago, had just mended their friendship with them shortly before the massacre. Since Harris usually doesn't miss classes, Brown asked them why they were late, and Harris said, "It doesn't matter anymore, Brooks. You know I love you, right? So get out of here right now. Immediately. You go home." Brown immediately drove away from the area, and a few minutes later, he heard the first gunshots in the distance and notified the police. Just at that moment, Dylan also arrived at school in a different car. The two left propane bombs in the cafeteria. When the bombs didn't explode, they started opening fire and went to the library. Eric killed 7 people and Dylan killed 6 in this massacre, which was the deadliest school attack in American history. 20 minutes after the murders, the two returned to the library. Let's note that they killed 10 of the 13 people here. The duo who came to the library started shooting at the police through the windows. After 5 minutes, they went to the bottom of the bookcases. At that moment, a teacher, student and library staff who had locked themselves in a room there heard Harris and Klebold talking among themselves. 1, 2, 3. Then 2 gunshots. The 2 of them shot themselves in the head and committed suicide. Likewise, there is no camera recording of what happened outside. However, thanks to the photos, we can understand how terrifying the incident was. To look at the overall balance sheet, 24 people were seriously injured, 13 people lost their lives. Later, not wanting to be caught by the cops, the 2 commit suicide by shooting themselves in the head in the library. Let's also talk about a short film project of the duo called Hitmen for Hire. In the short film they prepared in December 1998, they feature a lot of violent images. In the film, they swear, shout at the camera, and even shoot people in a similar way to the massacre they are going to do. Moreover, they are not limited only to films, they always include such topics in their scripted projects. In fact, one day their teacher says to the duo, "Your spelling technique is great, you can really put people in that mode." The influence of people on other people is undoubtedly very important, as in this case. If you like the video, remember to subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell.